I tell you I was on my mind?
It's your brother, your cousin, your
couple of
uncle,
things
your
off my
nephew, your
chest.
friend, but I can't be your son, it's your kinfolk. William Jewell L. Giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn all the notifications on so you can get all the new posts and all the new content when I make them. I just came here to motivate and give you a detailed point of view of hip hop from a telescopic and microscopic view, close up and far away. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Right? Man, the news cycle is continuing to flow, continuing to rotate and turn, and seems like we're just getting swept up in this tornado, right? With hip hop, as you can say. I just got on Twitter. This is Sunday. I just got on Twitter. I'm seeing Shannon Sharp getting into it with Jim Jones. I'm seeing Drake walking out Morgan Wallen during a concert and people having their opinions about it. I'm seeing all these things coming to me right before I record, and what do I want to talk about, and I don't know what should I talk about, but I know what to talk about on this platform, and it's we got to stick to the music, right? We got to get to the music, and then we can get some of the gossipy stuff out the way, right? Fat Joe, Tyler Perry, both are being sued for sexual abuse, sexual assault. Diddy's not the only one. R. Kelly wasn't the only one. Vince McMahon wasn't the only one. It's so many things that's being brought up now. We can't not speak about it because it pertains to the culture. It pertains to hip hop, right? And some things we need to look at from a detailed point of view. And I feel like just close up and far away, far away is the people that don't understand the culture. That's how they see it. Close up is for the people who are in the trenches, right in the midst of everything happening, and they understand it for really what it is. But there was some new music to come out, right? There was some new music. And one of the biggest songs or biggest stories in this news cycle is Clips, right? Releasing So Be It, Pharrell on the beat, on the production. Pusha T and Malice just going back to that luxury rap, going back to that drug talk, that plug talk, just going back to lyricism, going back to the confidence, the aura on the mic, and I could feel it through the music. I could feel their passion. I could feel their intentions, their motives. I could see that they want to bring the real rap and the real hip hop back. And now we're in this time frame where these things are being praised. But when we look at the generation underneath us, they clout chasing, they hating. It's always excuses, right? It's always excuses for the other person, but it's never, a reasoning for the person who is reacting to something that someone did to them. Right? We got to talk about the diss towards Travis Scott. Right? It seems like people always get mad at the reaction, but they don't want to look at the action. And for the people who don't know why Pusha T is on So Be It, this new song dissing Travis Scott, it's because Travis Scott was not authentic. He was not a genuine friend to him, Pharrell or Kanye. It's because of Travis Scott's ability to play the fence, play both sides, and try to stay in between, in the middle. But sometimes that goes wrong. And when you talk with loyal people, when you experience people who have a certain pride in their friendships and in their relationships, and keeping those as a priority to the backbiting, to the backsliding, right? I think that puts you in a peculiar situation. And Travis Scott, he from Texas. Shout out Texas, Houston, right? To be exact, we can't ignore that as a Texan. But as a Texan, and if you grew up in Houston, you grew up with Zero. And if you grew up with Zero, he illustrates in his music what a fake friend is. Zero was a role model to us all. He was a teacher to us all when it comes to, friends that don't have your best interest at heart. So for Travis to be from Houston, to be from Texas, Pimp C, Bun B, to be from Scarface, to be from an era where that introspective rapping was always high within our culture, and to not understand the hip hop rules and elements and how moving this way could be looked at in a certain way. Right? And I say that to say all this. Right? Pusha T diss Travis Scott. Why did he diss Travis Scott? Let's get to the meat and potatoes, and I'll serve you a dish. Travis Scott did a song with Drake on the last album he came out with called Utopia. He did a song with Drake, right? Drake is on this song dissing Pharrell, right? Drake says something in the lyrics about melting down his chains. This is why the song is called Meltdown. It's an excerpt from Drake's verse, right? And then once Drake finishes his verse, Travis follows it up, right? So that's where people who are trying to defend Travis Scott and saying he doesn't know or he doesn't really listen to rap, or just trying to say that he didn't know about this, it wasn't brought to his attention, he didn't know that this would be seen as a diss song, right? So what happened was Travis Scott played the song for Pharrell. He barged in to Clips and Pharrell studio session with the Utopia briefcase, with the cameras rolling, filming all of this for his documentary. In Pusha T words, he was jumping, laughing, smiling, doing his monkey dance, right? So basically putting on a show for the cameras. They didn't even really want him there. They don't even have any interest in his music, but he wanted to play this for Pharrell. Pharrell, on this Utopia album, he has production credits, right? And on this album, Drake is dissing Pharrell. And not only is he dissing Pharrell, he's also dissing Pusha T, because he talks about Pharrell being the boss of people. So it's indirectly at Pusha T, but it's more directly towards Pharrell. And I mean, Pharrell never had a true issue with Drake. It's Drake trying to get at other people on the side of Pusha T. And Pharrell is a lot more notable, is a lot more critically acclaimed, a lot more popular. So, hey, instead of dissing you, I'm going to diss somebody who's a bigger star, a bigger artist than you, and that's how I'm going to get under your skin. And Travis Scott allowed this. So be it. So if you allowed this, then whatever reaction that you get from me after you act like you was my friend and you act like you was one of my best friends' friend, and you laughed and played in our face while we was trying to get some business done, we took time for you to do this, but you wasn't genuine about it. You hid some things. This Drake verse was delivered to him at the last minute. How could he know? He followed up the verse. Then on top of that, he called the song Meltdown. And regardless if he didn't or didn't know, he's still responsible in knowing. Right? You're still responsible. If something happens under your watch and you're at work and you're the manager and the supervisor of a certain project, you're still going to be responsible whether you know or whether you don't know. If you're a head coach of a team and a player does something outside the lines, off the court, off the field, and you don't know about it, the fact that you're his coach, look at Art Browse at Baylor, the fact that you're the coach, you're going to be held responsible if the discipline is not what people think it should be. Travis Scott, you're responsible for acting in such a way. You're responsible with acting like a $4 bill, fake and phony. Right? Zeros told us. Pimp C, Bun B, they told us. Scarface told us, you're from Texas, brother. You're supposed to know better than this, but you're acting as if you're not from the culture. You're acting as if integrity doesn't matter. And we're not even going to we're not even going to talk about what happened in Astro World and how you reacted after that. Because now that we see these whole tendencies, now we got to bring up some things that happen really in the spotlight. Now we got to dig a little bit deeper. And we got to see what your character really is. A guy from Texas. I love my Texans. But you know the lesson. Zero told us. And the fact that you ignored those teachings and are maneuvering in the industry as a reptilian-bodied person, a snake would be the best description, then we got to look at that in a certain light. So this is not clout chasing from Pusha T. This is right up his alley. This is the brand of Clips. This is the brand of Pusha T, calling out what you don't see as manly, as masculine, the same way he talked about Kanye West in their interview, the same way he feels about how Drake is acting, right? So I don't really have an issue with Pusha T calling them out. And for the people saying, oh, he didn't respond to Jim Jones, the song that he made Jim Jones even get in the booth to wanna diss him back is the Chains and Whip song. And it hadn't dropped. It was on a preview on a LVMH fashion, Louis Vuitton fashion show. They previewed the song. It never came out. We found out it never came out because there was a Kendrick verse on that, and UMG and Drake was trying to block that verse because of the lawsuit. The album never came out. So now that the song and the album is finally coming out, of course. And there's no rush, no need to get back to Jim Jones, because we know Jim Jones is delusional. Jim Jones thinks that he's the better rapper than Nas. Jim Jones, he thinks that these young people love him. The young people don't love Jim Jones like that. I don't know any young person outside of New York thinking about Jim Jones in that type of manner. Nobody cares about how you dress. Nobody cares about how you talk. Nobody cares if you know Cameron and you're from the Dipset. Nobody cares, because when you was on stage with some real MCs, Jadakiss, Styles P, Sheik Luke, The Locks, when you were on stage with your friends against them, you looked like an imbecile. You look very miniature and marginalized. Jim Jones, I respect Jim Jones. But Jim Jones like I understand like him being confident. I understand the cockiness. I understand the arrogant side, but I don't understand the delusion, right? Because if your stats are not like Tom Brady's, if your stats are not like Jordan's or LeBron's, if your stats are not comparable, then you got to be realistic about what type of player you are at the end of the day, because you're still playing the game, you're still getting a paycheck. You might not be the best of the best, you might not be the pinnacle, but you are somebody that could make an all-star appearance. You are somebody that can have some good highlights and have some good footage or film of you doing some good things, but you can't compare yourself with the GOATs, Jim Jones. I don't care. Like, if they're in your era, why wasn't you in their era talking how you was talking? Right? He got on the Fat Joe and Jadakiss show. And now he's going back and forth with Shannon Sharp. I just saw it on X. Like, and Shannon Sharp, I think he fed up with the bullshit. He fed up with tippy toeing around things. And he kind of did little bro Jim Jones. Because we know Jim Jones, he can't see Shannon Sharp. Bad hip and all. We know Shannon Sharp damaged that boy. Right? Because he got that grown man strength. And we know that he didn't shy away from things getting uncomfortable. It was funny. It was argumentative. It was good for debates, likes, clicks, whatever. It was a good thing, but it was also a good thing because sometimes you gotta be able to call people out on their bullshit. I mean, and to be fair to Jim Jones, he didn't get nasty with Shannon. He didn't get nasty about bringing up stuff that Shannon has done off camera, including the sexual assault case that he has on him. He kept it within the lines. They didn't go out of bounds. Right? They kept it music. And I think it wasn't a bad talk. I think it was a real man, grown man talk. And I think like how they handled it, just being able to go there but still bring it back down, even though Ocho Cinco tried to, mediate. But the way that they handled things, I think it was applaudable, right? Obviously, they was able to finish the show, but I just think having that back and forth, like real disagreement, but being able to talk it out and have a discussion without a shouting match back and forth, I think that was dope to see. But and kudos for Shannon for sticking up for Nas, Jay Z, DMX, all of them, like, and Jadakiss. So kudos for Shannon because that means he does respect the culture of hip hop, and he knows hip hop to even know that Jim Jones as an artist can't fool with Nas. So that's just my take on that. But we gotta go into the Fat Joe and the Tyler Perry thing, right? And just coming from the Shannon Sharp discussion, it seems like these lawsuits are inevitable. Like, either from back in the day, although you might have changed your ways, people that know you from back in the day, if they feel like they haven't been properly paid or properly, handled, or they've been mistreated, mishandled, they're gonna come back to get you. All those actions that you've done in the past, that you've done in the dark, will come back to bite you. Look at Fat Joe. Look at Tyler Perry. Look at Shannon Sharp. And I'm not saying that those guys did anything wrong, but sometimes when we talking about sexual assault cases, sexual abuse cases, we think about the man having the lust in his heart, right? A man being too horny, being too freaky, wanting to do too much and exert too much power to get what they want. Even in the Tyler Perry case, right? This man is basically claiming that Tyler Perry is gay. Or bisexual, right? Because sometimes in the black culture, if you're a man, you're not bisexual. If you're a man, if you mess with men, you're considered gay. There's no other way. We don't say he's bisexual, but he's outing Tyler Perry as bi or gay. Now I don't know if he's ever said or came out and said that. I doubt he has because he has that Christian background. So what happening is he's coming out already damaging his brand because he's demanding money for a lawsuit, but he's also ruining his Christian brand because a lot of these old school Christians, right, super religious Christians, they love Tyler Perry. And to come out and say not only did he sexual assault you, but he's bisexual, right, which is quote unquote against the Bible, then it draws a red X, or should I say a scarlet letter on his jersey, on his jacket, and it makes him look worse twofold. But at the same time, people are talking about it like they just kind of knew Tyler Perry was gay and, he was doing this already. But, just through those text messages, yes, I don't think there was no evidence that Tyler Perry was not digging that guy. But it looked like, from what I saw and what I heard and what I read, it looks like the guy was digging him too. And I mean, as far as the Fat Joe thing, minors are involved. Minors are involved. That's one thing about Puff Daddy's trial. That's one thing about Shannon Sharp's case. Even though the girl was young, there's one thing about Tyler Perry case that's not there, and that are the minors. Minors being 15, 16 years of age. So the hype man is saying that he coerced him to make him do some sexual acts, right? So T.A. Dixon, and this is the same lawyer that represented Little Rodney when they made a case against Diddy, and that Diddy case turned into a federal case. So that's the only thing. The same lawyer that took on Lil Rodney, right, is taking on this guy, T.A. Dixon, T.A. Anderson, who's a hype man. Right? He's a hype man. It's Dixon. T.A. Dixon. He's a hype man for Fat Joe. And he's claiming he's did all these horrendous things. So I feel like this is being reported on, but it's not as loud because it's a hype man and it seems weird and it seems like very Elon Musk like, because it's screaming like when he was participating in these type of things, why are you waiting to now to say he was doing those things? Why are you waiting now? You had no problem with it when he was doing these things when you was getting paid, but now you're not getting paid and he not taking care of you. Now you want to call out some of these things, and we don't even know if they're true because, like, with who this person was to Joe, we know he was close, but at the same time, like, the fact that you're upset with him, of course you can say some things. What's up, man? Hey, let daddy finish this. All right, and I'll be down there. Okay? Go down there. Hey, no, because you're going to be loud. I'll be down there. Give me a couple minutes. Shut the door. Shut the door. I'm going to feed you. Give me a couple minutes. Sorry about that, but with this T.A. Dixon guy, all right, so we don't know. And I ain't really just going to touch too much on that because that is like some things that, is not worth me really like diving into because obviously I haven't read the whole article about the counts and acts and everything with Tyler Perry, everything with Fat Joe, but this culture of this lawsuit culture is getting bigger and bigger and bigger because they know people are going to settle, right? And if they don't settle, they can put that jacket on them and they can still try to get some money. Same thing with Shannon Sharp, same thing with Jay-Z. They tried to get some money out of him first. They was thinking about a ridiculous number and they wasn't going to settle. They was going to let it go public rather than pay somebody such and such amount of dollars. And when I think about Shannon Sharp, just the fact that everything's just gone quiet, the fact that he's continuing on with his show and everything like that after all those things happened, to me, it begs that he's innocent in the matter. It begs that he's not worried about it because he know this is a money grab. But just for him moving in the way that he's moving and continuing like to push further, you gotta salute. You gotta take your hat off to him. And I feel like that comes from the football career, the ability to dig deep when the pressure's on you, when you're playing in those Super Bowl champions, when you gotta make those catches, when you become a Hall of Famer. Like, I know Shannon Sharp had to endure a lot mentally. So he's mentally tough and mentally strong. His body's not just strong, but to be a Hall of Famer and to do what he's doing on the levels in media, you gotta be great internally, not just physically. So I know he's gifted in that aspect, and just to keep going and keep pushing, like you gotta salute that, right? You gotta salute that. So I hope that Shannon can clear his name and get back on ESPN, because without Shannon Sharp on ESPN and Stephen A going back and forth, I mean, it does lose a little bit of its hype. It does lose a little bit of its luster, right? Because Shannon Sharp brung a certain dynamic to that show that we haven't seen in a while. And he could talk basketball as well as football, so you could really just keep him on year long. And that just speaks on his skill set. It speaks on his talent level and his knowledge of the game, and you know how the people who are around or listen to the game buy into what he says. And he's not the only person. He does what Stephen A does. He brings other basketball analysts in here to have those conversations with him, and it's been working. I guess we'll leave it at that, really. I mean, I don't know if I really want to talk about the Drake and Morgan Wallen thing. I'll let it brew up, get a little bit bigger before I speak on it, because I really don't care about it. You know, Morgan Wallen said the N word, and I did hear the video. I did see the video again. It was the hard ER, right? But sometimes just looking at Morgan Wallen, I don't know him like that, but when he came out with Drake, he came out like he was a hip hop guy, like the way he was moving, because he got like trap elements to his music. He did stuff with Dirk. So it's not like Drake is the first person to hop on that Morgan Wallen train and collab with him. Dirk was already collabing with him on 7220. He collabed with him on Almost Healed. So to down Drake because he's with Morgan Wallen, and we saw Dirk, one of the most grimiest, one of the most street, one of the guys that's in jail for murder for hire vibe with him, do songs with him, then why are we holding Drake to this certain standard? And the thing is, I know a lot of people and some of my black brothers and sisters, I know some of y'all that are proud and that hate when a white person says the N-word. I know y'all might have difficulty or y'all might not like my take on this, but Morgan Wallen wants to be of hip-hop, right? I'm not going to say he wants to be black, but we got music that has the N-word in it. And we know that these people are rapping these songs and saying the N-words when they're not with us. Just think if a white person had a song that people liked and they had a word derogatory and they were saying it in all their music, but we wasn't allowed to say it publicly. Like, think about how hard it would be to navigate that landscape. So that's why when I'm around a white person, I don't give them the need or the want to say the N word in front of me to either be cool or just, if I'm not saying it, you shouldn't say it. And it's like, I feel like sometimes when you're around a white person and they say it, they want to test you. They want to see like how do you feel about that, or they want to see like in real life. You know what I'm saying? Dang, we was just talking about the Mexican OT saying the N word. Sauce Walker, it's so many people. That's always been a controversial word to say. But at the same time, if we're raising these children with our music that constantly says the N word in it, then it's kind of hard to expect them to grow up and not either say it or want to say it. So the way that he said, this pussy MF, and then he said, this pussy hard ER. It just seemed like he just wanted to say the N word because, you know, rappers, people, they talk like that. So if somebody say the N word, like, I don't think they racist off top. I think they gotta do something racist to be racist. Like, I see that, you know, a lot of people that supported him was on the right. Right? A lot of people that supported him was more right-winged. But he does make country music. He is a white guy. And the same thing with Derek Chauvin, the same thing with George Zimmerman, the same thing with some of these people who spit this rhetoric. There's going to be some people that agree with this rhetoric that are going to show admiration and show support, right? Even when the other side of the culture condemns it. So, I mean, people saying the guy's a piece of shit. I don't know the guy. I don't know enough about his background or career to really speak on Morgan Wallen and his history with saying the word and how is that related to racist or racism. But when Drake walked out with him, like, automatically people are saying he's joining the MAGA. Like, bro, this is a popular artist that got support from white people. Like, why wouldn't I show my face if I'm one of the biggest artists? I don't have to align with his philosophical beliefs. And just because I show love to him doesn't mean I align with his philosophical beliefs. It's rappers that done songs with Kanye for years. They might not align with his philosophical beliefs. Right? But it's Kanye. So it's crazy that we put everybody in this box. If a friend is my friend and he's shown me nothing but love and he's done some things that people don't agree with, said some things, but he's always showed me love, genuine gratitude, why do I gotta hate him? Why do I gotta dislike him? Why do I have to not show him love? And I think that sensitive ass culture stuff that we trying to kind of get away from, and we're trying to move away from the cancel culture type thinking, I think it's a plus. But I don't think this is a bad look for Drake as far as him aligning with racists or the MAGA. I think that the whole they not like us sentiment and how people view Morgan Wallen and view Drake with him seems like he's aligning himself with him, right? My coach Willie Fritz always told us perception is reality. No matter what we think, what we're trying to convey, what point we're trying to prove, Whatever the people see is what they believe is the reality of the situation. If I'm a black man with dreads and shades on with a colorful shirt with muscles on, what are you going to think about me? You going to think I'm a personal trainer? You going to think I'm a drug dealer? What are you going to think I do? A professional football player? That's the reality of it. So if I want to be perceived as that way, then I'm going to present myself as that way. If I just want to be perceived as a professional, astute, right, intelligent, smart, maybe I'm gonna wear a collar shirt. Maybe I'm gonna bring these dreads back. Maybe I'm gonna put some glasses on. Maybe I'm gonna wear a suit. Maybe I'm gonna wear some slacks. All right, yeah, that's what it's gonna be for me if I want to show you that I'm not like that. Although characteristically I can fit in that box, but that doesn't mean that's who I am. The perception of it is what speaks for me. But I guess I did speak on it, you know. So shout out to Drake. Not because I love Drake, but just I see what I won't say I see what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. But I see some agendas being pushed. I see some maneuvering being done. I shout out to him because I see him. Like I got my eye on him. You know what I'm saying? I got my eye on what he got brewing. I'm watching it from the sidelines. Like Kendrick, he move how he moves, straightforward. Drake, he's more sneaky with his movements, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And to be honest, I wouldn't say Kendrick is straightforward because he's more detailed, and sometimes we miss the details. So, man, it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be his son, his kinfolk. William Jewell, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap, rap, rap.